Welcome everybody to a new episode of the Dragoncast. My name is Brian Daniels. I'm back once again with my podcast partner in crime, Mr. Victor Salazar. And on this episode, we are joined by two of our previous guests. We have KJ and we have Carl. And we're here to talk all about PopCon because PopCon is in person and it's back in person this year. And we're all excited to be seeing each other and hanging out and getting right back into the swing of things again. And guys, oh man, we got less than 2 weeks away. This is insane, right?
It's exciting and terrifying.
Yeah, what's better at alleviating Zoom fatigue than throwing you a big convention?
All right.
Yeah. I'm ready for it.
I bet. Yeah, we're all ready for it. We're definitely excited. Got some awesome guests lined up as well. We can't wait. We'll definitely get into that. But I gotta say, man, what's the you guys? I'm sure, man. I know last year you had the virtual PopCon, which was definitely a little bit of a challenge. Definitely doing something different, and tested the waters with that. And but man, I bet you're glad now finally to go back to doing something in person again, man. It's I bet you've been ready for this, man.
I think everybody's ready.
Yeah.
But as far as the virtual event last year, I was really impressed with what we were able to accomplish. I don't know of another event in the country that did as much content as we did over the same weekend. I don't know how we did it because we made the decision to not have the in-person event, rightfully so, but we waited because no one knew anything. Well, shoot, we still don't.
Yeah.
But we waited and waited and waited because we wanted to move forward, but it just wasn't safe for everybody. And then we put that whole thing together in a month. I think I probably spent 80-hour days, 16-hour days.
Definitely felt like 80 hours.
I probably spent 80 hours in 1 week just splicing the film festival together so that we could stream it online. And fortunately, I found, even though we have a hybrid component to the film festival this year, I found a better way of doing it. So I don't have to spend 80 hours on it this year.
Yeah, I remember that.
But we didn't have the luxury of time. So I just started hacking into it last year.
Yeah, it was really amazing what you pulled off, Carl, and I was excited to be a part of it. I actually have had several of because part of the cool component to the virtual PopCon was the podcast marathon was podcasts from all around the world. Like we had podcasts from Australia and England, and they've all been like, "Are we doing that again?" I'm like, no. Maybe sometime like we'll do a podcast marathon on our YouTube channel or something somewhere down the road that's virtual, but we got to be in person for this one.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it's gonna, I've missed going and being at the Indiana Convention Center. I was in Indy for another convention back in May. And I drove by there, and I was like, "Man, I miss being in this building." Oddly enough, I miss the carpet. Isn't that weird? Like, it's so, it's you get used to seeing that, and walking around there, and it's gonna be great. This will be my first convention back at the Indiana Convention Center, and I'm pretty certain this is gonna be the first big in-person event back at the Indiana Convention Center. Which is amazing. And downtown Indy is a great spot. Indy has definitely become a really great place to have conventions. It's definitely been that way for the past 10 years, if not more than that. And I bet it's been really weird being downtown. I don't live in Indy anymore, but I bet it's been really weird, like going and being downtown Indy, like in the past year, and just kind of feeling like dead down there with nothing going on, no food trucks, none of that. And not anymore. We're back now, and I'm so glad that we're at the place we need to be with this, with the pandemic and everything affecting everything. We don't have to worry about, as you said, Carl, doing all this Zoom stuff anymore. We can actually get back to seeing each other face to face. And I want to ask you, what's the outcome looking like now? We're a little less than 2 weeks away. Are we still going to be wearing masks at this convention, Carl, or what's the deal with that?
Boy, I wish I could answer that question.
Yeah, still not even.
Well,
Still a lot of ifs.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah,
I
of
think
course. Of course.
I think it's very likely that we are going to recommend that everyone does.
Okay.
But my gut is telling me that that's not going to be the hard rule anymore.
Okay.
If you're vaccinated, only if you're vaccinated.
Sure.
But the rules have been getting better, easier on everyone.
Mhm.
But we won't know until we have to submit the health plan the end of next week. So
Sure.
Oh wow.
it's we they only wanted a week out.
Yeah, that's kind of close to the dates. Yeah.
Because things
Yeah.
happen so quickly.
Yeah.
The
Well,
convention-
what's interesting is with the mask thing, I don't know if you guys have found, but I've gotten kind of used to it. I have asthma, so even though I'm vaccinated, I'm still wearing my mask, but then people are kind of looking at you funny. So I actually just yesterday, Carl, I got a mask that says vaccinated on it that specifically to wear to PopCon. That like, I am wearing a mask to protect you, but I'm also vaccinated.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just because we don't know, right?
We'll likely be sporting some of these.
Oh, I need one of those.
Ooh, I need one of those too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that we bought enough to sell, but
Yeah.
we will I can't guarantee that the whole staff is going to be wearing them 100% of the time because
Sure.
there are things that you just can't do when you're wearing a mask.
Of
But
course. Of course.
we're gonna try and set the example as a volunteer crew and staff to more often than not be walking around with masks as I see it right now.
So I'm curious if our photo ops going to be done in a way where I know, like, I went to a convention back in May. It was the first one I went to, during the pandemic and everything. And they did this thing where they had a little piece of plexiglass in between. Are you guys doing that for PopCon this year as well?
I would have to check. We brought in a new super duper professional photo op team this year.
Okay.
In order to be able to grow that whole part of the business. It wasn't specifically COVID decision.
Right.
We were wanting to grow because we want to be able to do more photo ops. We want more people to be able to have pictures with their celebrities. We're working with a company called Celeb Photo Ops, believe it or not. And they're going to be able to grow with us because they do the biggest conventions in the country. And they're also locals. They're only from Bloomington. So it's
perfect.
It's convenient. We're not going to be anywhere near their biggest event. So, but they do that as a profession. So they're going to have all the safeguards available. I'm not sure exactly specifically what they are because we have to rely on their expertise, not ours.
Gotcha.
Well, and I think, they're in the same space where it's like, you're submitting a health, to the health department a week before. It's like so many things can change that what do we need to have and what don't we need to have can change drastically in 2 weeks. But yeah, I happen to work for Celeb Photo Ops, so I can give you the thumbs up that it'll be a great crew and a great experience.
100%.
Can you speak to some of the challenges now that, I know you guys mentioned the health, everything needs to be done 1 week out before you guys are good to go with, the health inspection and that good stuff. Are there any other challenges that you see coming up, now that we're opened up and everything's going on that's been different based on, the virtual one and the one before?
I would say that the biggest challenge is the not knowing.
Yeah.
So when we announced back in February, people thought we were nuts that we were thinking that we were going to be able to pull off an event in July. Fortunately, that has drastically shifted in our favor, which we were hoping it would, obviously.
We are nuts, but that's not why.
That's not the reason why.
Right, yeah.
Right, but it's been the not knowing. So we're constantly asking for new updates, and the mayor comes out with updates. The convention center comes out with updates. The CDC came out with a big update that surprised everybody. The Marion County Health Department is constantly changing their rules. The mayor usually follows their recommendations. So it's just been a flow of always constantly finding out what the new thing is, so that we can replan the space, add chairs where we can add chairs. create aisles where we can create aisles, the flow of the event, how many people we can have in the building at the same time, or technically it's in a particular room at the same time.
Yeah.
And all that just keeps shifting. Another challenge is I've been asked by you, and I've been asked by television and the Star and everybody about what our specific COVID rules is. And I keep giving a politician's answer. I've never answered the question. And it's frustrating because I really do want to be able to answer the question. And it's not, and I'm not, that's nothing against the health department or the mayor or the convention center, because they don't know either. Everything keeps changing. And early on last year, they were having press briefings they still have them once a week, but they were constantly projecting what was going to happen a month from then. Well, they stopped doing that, rightfully so, because it kept changing so much. Because I mean, obviously, it got way worse before it got better again.
Of course,
and they couldn't plan for that. So we're riding the wave essentially, and we've got what we're now less than 2 weeks out. We've got what the plan should be. I don't know if anyone on here we sent out a survey of your vaccination status for people. And I was really impressed with how many people responded to that, because in politically charged Indiana, I wasn't sure if people were even me saying, hey, we're not capturing who's answering this. We just want an answer.
Right.
And as truthful as possible. But I was very impressed with the results. We got an excellent statistical sample, and I'm not going to tell you what the answer was, but because I have to remain that political, I have to have that
for sure.
But our answer, I'll tell you, shocked even the convention center. So, which it's in everybody's favor, and I was very happy with the results.
Good.
And it's crazy because you say that those, you mentioned that you were shocked by the vaccination statistics. I will tell you this. I went to Squared Circle Expo back in May, and that was the first one that I've been back to, and we had them on the show and everything. They were also very adamant about the following guidelines and things like that. Even back in May, it's 2 months ago, a couple months ago, it's been, like you said, drastically different
story,
as the months have gone on. And I will say, having went to that show, I was pretty surprised the amount of people that were even wearing masks, because I did not expect that, as you said, with political Indiana and everything. But I was glad to see that, and it made me feel better about where we're going, the direction we're going in with everything. So I mean, I will say I was probably one of those people too back in February where I was like, they're going to do this in person, like, oh, about that, but the scene of the scene of things was different back in February, and now we're coming into July, and I'm excited. It's going to definitely be a good time to have an in-person event back in Indy again to start it off with.
Yeah, if PopCon, I've never used this analogy before, but if PopCon were a car, you cannot just turn the ignition and put us on the gas.
Yeah.
So we had to announce back in February. We had to start scheduling or contracting celebrities. We had to make the decision to move forward early on, because we're a really heavy locomotive. We can chug along real slow, and then by the time it becomes July, we're cruising along at 60. But yeah, we had to make a decision, because if we didn't start contracting people, if we didn't start finishing the hotel contracts, because we were holding on to everything, because we had to make the decision to just move forward.
Yeah, I mean, an in-person
all these costs.
I was saying, an in-person event isn't something you can start planning a month before,
overnight, right?
Yeah.
Can't do it.
I think what's really cool about is we're talking about PopCon and the decision that they made in February, and going back to what Carl and the crew did last year with virtual PopCon, is that this is an experience that is run by fans, and it is trailblazing the way to make sure that fans still stay connected, that it is really a community, and virtual PopCon allowed us to have that connection when we couldn't be together. And I am not surprised that Carl and Chris and the crew made that decision in February, that we, even though it's going to be the plan after the plan after the plan after the plan after the plan, all the way up to, days beforehand, and the extra work that's going into this on top of what it usually takes to pull this convention off, that they said, yes, we're going to do it, because that is just how these guys work, and that's how they operate, and that let's get the community back together as safely as we can, and we'll figure it out. And Carl is not sleeping, but he's figuring it out, because it's important to the PopCon family that we get it figured out.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've had people ask me, like, what do you think about PopCon coming back in July, and, starting in February, and, and I was like, I'll tell you what, and back in February, I was like, although I'm not sure what the state of this pandemic is going to be like in July, I will say that the one thing about PopCon is I can always trust that these guys know what they're doing. Like they granted, you're not perfect, but you guys definitely do a good job of trying to give the fans what they want, and trying to put together the best type of convention you can, whether it was the virtual one last year or the in-person events you guys have been doing for many years now. You're always trying to do something to give fans something, because you could have easily just said last year, we're just not going to do anything. Like we're not going to have any convention, anything at all. And I'm sure people probably would have understood that decision as well. But you're like, no, we can't do that. We got to give these guys something. They got to have something to enjoy. And you guys did a great job of giving them that, and providing content for them when they otherwise probably would have just been like, yeah, it's expected, it's a pandemic, everything else, we can't have any fun anywhere else, so it's kind of expected. I do want to ask you, Carl, with in regards to like the merch area or the exhibit hall, things like that. How is that going to be a lot different of a scene? Are we going to have things spaced out this time? I mean, I know once again you can't really kind of give a definitive, but what's the idea with that right now?
The floor plan's pretty set, so I can give you a definitive on that one.
Okay, but, perfect.
The space is going to feel the same as previous years. So when we first started planning this in February, that wasn't necessarily true, because the attendance inside the room was so much lower than what we're allowed now. But I think we're down about 20% in the quantity of vendors, and that was by design, early decision. The spacing, coincidentally, they're 10-foot booths, so that was already socially distanced, and we didn't have to change anything as regards to that. But we wanted to get early on, because of the limited attendance that we were being required to have. We had hard limits on a ceiling of number of people in a given room. We made the decision to really cut back on the number of vendors, because we definitely want the vendors to be successful.
Of
year
course.
after year, we want the vendors to be successful. So, and we never, even though the in-room attendance was allowed to kind of creep up a little bit, we didn't add vendors to the process. So we want everybody to be successful. The space inside the vendor hall should feel a lot like 2019. It's a big space. It's just slightly smaller. We're on the old side, so it doesn't translate completely the same as the new side of the convention center. But the physical footprint is roughly the same. We didn't get as many breakout rooms. So the side rooms along the hall, on the old side, there just aren't as many of them. So we had to coordinate. We pulled esports into the vendor hall. We pulled a virtual reality into the vendor hall. Nice. We've got a bigger board gaming space this year because people really liked that in 2019. And coincidentally, the board gaming space doesn't take money away from the vendors. So there are a lot of decisions. We've got a huge Lego area this year, Lego area this year.
I'm excited about that.
Yes.
You'll see it right when you walk in the front door of the vendor hall. Right after you walk past the PopCon store. So
All right.
We've got, so there's a lot of experience. And then we've got the celebrities in an L shape, so it's easy to navigate.
Okay.
The celeb photo ops is prominently in the back of Hall B.
Okay.
It should be a very easy vendor floor. We've got a lot of talented artists, a lot of great vendors that have come back. Some we were surprised, but it's everybody's craving to get back in. I mean, I've said since we started doing interviews back in February, the vendors, a lot of the vendors, this is their livelihood, and they didn't have it last year.
Yeah.
So to not even have events like ours is a big deal. We've not warranted any capacity of people to come because we just don't know how many people are going to show up. So we've not warranted an attendance number. We're not expecting. What we get is what we get, and we're going to promote for as many people and as much fun as possible within the rules.
Nice.
So
of course.
So here's a quick question for you, Carl. So I'm looking at the PopCon website, and I'm seeing everyone that's lined up. Well, I shouldn't say everyone, but I'm seeing what you guys have lined up. I see Paranormal X Road, which I'm going to talk to you about, KJ, because I've been meaning to catch that, and I haven't been able to get it just yet.
Oh, yeah.
And I also see Bryce Papenbrook, and I see Justin Briner. You know, I see some names in here that I want to take a look and see what's going on over at PopCon. I'm in California. I'm not going to make it to Indy to check this out. Are you planning on doing anything virtual or anything that can be streamed or anything along those lines, considering that has been the trend this past year?
Yeah.
Excellent question. So we are, the film festival is going to be truly hybrid. The schedule isn't identical, but I believe that the movies per day is the same. So the experience in person, you'll be able to enjoy that virtually for a very little fee. If you want to just join the film festival, I think we're only charging $15 for that for the entire weekend.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Just the film festival for people that can only attend the film festival virtually. And you just have to go to our website for that. Now, here's the catch. We would absolutely love to do a true hybrid version of PopCon with live streaming of all the panels, all the celebrity panels, walk-arounds of the vendor hall, just so people that can't participate. We would love to do that. But the internet at the Indiana Convention Center is cost prohibitive.
It's bad.
It is insanely expensive. It's designed for corporate events that have pockets way deeper than we will ever have. Or we'd have to charge more people to attend in order to provide it for other people, and we're not going to do that. So what we're going to do, and at least this is the plan, we've got at least 5 video cameras that are going to be walking around. A couple of them will be in the panel rooms and the main stage. We're going to do our best, with no guarantees, but we're going to do our best to record everything and essentially tape delay it maybe the next weekend, or do it some other time where we will actually have, for the first time, we're going to get all that kind of content. We've never had the resources to be able to do that. And this year we're going to do our best.
That's
cool. Since we've never done it before, that's why I give no guarantees, because things happen. But we're not relying on the internet. We're just relying on electricity. So we should be able to pull it off. In fact, I have
keeping battery packs charged.
Yeah, battery packs.
Yeah.
The stationary ones will be plugged in, but I just bought a bunch of memory cards. So
hey, nice.
So we've got. I mean, this is a legit offering. I'm actually sitting next to one of our cameras right here. So
okay, great.
See, you guys. I'm an anime guy, and you guys have 2 of my favorite, male voice actors on the show or coming onto the convention. As a matter of fact, my cat Key here, named after Kirito, which is one of the voices that Bryce does here. So I'm like, you got Deku and Kirito and Aaron on there, and I'm like, dude, I gotta catch that. How can I catch this? So
yeah,
that's cool.
And then we've got the Ruby folks coming in too. But our My Hero and our Attack on Titan lineup is
big.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
seriously.
A huge fan. So I would love to see that.
And then our late ad of Billy West blew us away too.
Oh, that was great. I was excited. I'm excited about that. Yeah, let's get into the guests. Let's talk about these guests we got coming here. We got some good guests for for an in-person return. You guys announced recently Billy West. I mean, if you've ever watched any cartoons in your entire life, you know this man he's a modern day Mel Blanc is kind of like what I like to call him. He's voiced so many characters from Doug to he's done voices of in Ren and Stimpy, Futurama. I'm sure you guys have watched that at some point. You know, so many different things that
you can't forget Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny, yeah, there you go, man.
The modern day Mel Blanc.
Bugs Bunny, yeah, and we're excited to you know, see him come into PopCon, and you guys do this little thing called Twisted Tunes. If you've never heard of that before, go on YouTube, look up Twisted Tunes, and prepare yourself, because I think for me, when I come to PopCon, that's like that's probably the biggest thing that I look forward to every time I come is all these incredible voices coming together and reading a script from a popular movie franchise or something like that. I can't wait for that.
So yeah, speaking of Twisted Tunes, so the gentleman that puts that on is also happens to be their agent.
Oh, nice.
He's brilliant, but
nice.
I can quote him as saying that people will not realize how good this Twisted Tunes is going to be, because we've got Billy West, Rob Paulson, Maurice LaMarche, and Jim Cummings. So Jim Cummings is Winnie the Pooh.
Oh yeah.
So it's for true voice actors, meaning they're. I shouldn't discount other voices.
These guys are like legends, though, right? Yeah,
they're the ones that change their voice in order to do a character.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Before a lot of voice talent has just that radio voice, then that's what people want.
Yes.
And that's when they make their money on their radio voice.
Their natural voice.
But these guys are super multi-talented in that they can do. They do vocal Olympics in there. All four of them do. And he said that this is going to. He's never had these four together, and he believes this is going to be the best Twisted Tunes that has ever been put together.
So when is that? If people want to make sure that they are there for Twisted Tunes.
Well, it would be fun if we had our full schedule up, but it'll be Saturday. It'll be Saturday afternoon. That's definitely a Saturday event.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like a Saturday event for sure. Yeah. I'm super excited to see them, because that's the one thing that I know there's everybody that comes to PopCon has their thing. You know, whether it's they're there for the celebrity guest and they want to get that autograph from someone, and maybe that's the only reason why they're there. Or me personally, I'm there for the whole thing, honestly, not just to review the convention as a press, but as an attendee. I mean, to enjoy and get to meet people that you never know if you're going to get to meet them again or see them in person. And then, especially with Twisted Tunes, you get to hear these iconic voices, these characters, some of which you grew, people like you grew up with as a kid, in person. To hear that voice is just so crazy to experience. So
you guys got me hooked now, and you got me intrigued. So Twisted Tunes is on YouTube. Is that what you said, Brian?
Yeah, is
it official? Is it official video from PopCon? Or are we talking about fan made stuff, from the audience?
They do these at multiple events. I know that I know that there are videos from PopCon, but it's not just a PopCon thing.
Right.
Their agent Jeff Zanini kind of owns that brand. Well, not kind of. He owns that brand. TOONZ. So Twisted, TOONZ. And you'll find them.
Gotcha. I'm gonna look this up because this is intriguing. I gotta.
It's very entertaining.
Victor, there's still time to book a flight.
Right.
I'll say you got like a week and a half, man. You got time.
So it's for those that don't know Twisted Tunes, the quick synopsis is they pick a movie script. And I've been told what it is, but I can't remember what movie they're doing. It's some anniversary. It's an anniversary of a movie that came out a long time ago. I just can't remember which one. It'll be fun. Doesn't really matter what the movie
it won't. No.
But they take an actual movie script, and Jeff Zanini will give Maurice LaMarche do this character for this period of time in the voice of the Hulk, or and then Rob Paulson will do it in the voice of Barack Obama, or and they just do the characters, and then every so long they change everybody's voices up again. So they're just reading through the script, and they kind of put the personalities of the character that they're speaking into
they
the
play
script.
off each other very well.
Oh man, it's gonna be crazy because Yeah, these are four of the biggest voice actors that have ever existed. So
Yeah,
Dude,
it's
Brian, you recommend all kinds of crap to me. You haven't recommended this. What's going on, man?
hey man.
you can still get a flight in from California, I promise.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Twisted
That's
Tunes
down.
definitely
That's down.
is one event that I'm definitely looking forward to. I know many people are always anticipating happening at PopCon. Well, let's get into some other things. So so KJ's here with us, and KJ, you got this little new TV show you've been working on.
I do.
And you guys are going to be doing a live TV show of this show. Tell us about Paranormal Crossing Road.
Yeah, Paranormal Crossroad is it's a show that just kind of organically happened. I didn't mean to get on a paranormal show. I've actually never watched paranormal shows.
I know that was kind of interesting when I found out. I was like, wait, KJ's getting into the paranormal stuff? That's interesting, but okay. Yeah, tell us all about it though.
Yeah, so I mean, part of the reason that I'm into this one is I've always been a weirdo. Have had, spirits growing up. Every house I lived in was haunted, and it turns out that they kind of travel with me. So
Nice.
it wasn't that I was like seeking it out or wanting to watch those shows. I just I live my life with it. I don't need the TV shows. But, I never really talked about it. But my friend Kitsy Duncan, who you can see, she has 3 seasons of a show called Oddity Files on Amazon Prime, and she has traveled all around the world investigating those notoriously haunted places. And what she found was that when she would go to these places and take a peaceful approach and just ask to have a conversation, that these demons weren't demons. They were just kind of spirits that nobody's ever said, can we chat about why you're so mad? So it's a little bit of spirit counseling and a little bit of bringing peace to homeowners. So we're going into homes. We've been to a couple of workplaces and really just kind of figuring out what's going on, so that the people who are alive and the people who are dead, and turns out some of the pets that are also dead, everybody gets to have this harmonious ending, and it usually ends up in tears, which is why we're bringing Paranormal Crossroad tissues with us to PopCon to give out for our live show. So how it will work on Friday night, we've done a couple of investigations, Brian, been to a couple of homeowners' houses, and we have not shown any of that footage yet. We're going to show some of that footage. We're going to have those homeowners on stage with us. We'll talk about what the experience has been like since we've been there, what's changed. And then the next component to our show is that we bring our spirit medium in to give them a reading and kind of chat with those spirits, tie up the loose ends, and really kind of, hopefully send them home with the knowledge that they need to live in their own house in peace. Tiffany Rice she's a very well-known spirit medium, and I've never met her in person. We've always done Zoom calls with her. So we do the investigation, then we Zoom with Tiffany. She's going to be in person. So she's going to give these people readings in front of a live studio audience.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then following the live show taping, we have a gallery reading. So people can get a ticket to be in this, one of the smaller panel rooms at PopCon, so that it's nice and intimate, and whoever's got spirits coming through talking to her, she's going to start being like, who over here has, an uncle that, always wore a baseball cap, and, and you'll be like, that's me, that's my uncle. Really excited and honored that PopCon is allowing us to do this. To my knowledge, no paranormal show has ever gone live. So we're nervous and excited, and just thrilled that, PopCon welcomes all these different genres of pop culture, and is bringing this, bringing the paranormal into it this year.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I would absolutely agree that I can't think of any pop culture convention I've been to that's ever had really much of anything in the way of paranormal stuff.
I don't remember seeing anything.
I know that I can't think of any. anything. I will say that I went to Louisville Arcade Expo several years ago. Had some of the some guys from was it Ghost Hunters? I think it was weird. They were there. I'm like, okay. I mean, whatever, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, that's really cool that you're going to be doing Paranormal Crossroad there at PopCon. And KJ, I know you've been definitely involved with PopCon over the years, and you've absolutely helped Carl run certain things.
I hope I've helped Carl. Sometimes I feel like I'm like, here's a whole bunch of things, Carl. Sorry to put it on your plate. I like to think it evens out.
It does.
But you've absolutely, you've done a lot for the convention scene yourself. I know you do a lot for Gen Con and as well with Make-A-Wish and things like that in the past, and other things too. We've had you on the show for that before. So yeah, it's gonna be great to see you guys, both of you guys. I can't wait to see you guys in person again. It's been forever, man.
So exciting.
Here soon. We also have the International Film Festival. Let's talk about that, Carl. Let's get into that too. That's going to be going on that same weekend. How many people do you know about how many people you already have so far lined up to show their films at this film festival this year?
Yeah, it's somewhere between 65 and 75 different films are going to be shown this weekend.
Wow, that's great.
We got submissions from 21 countries this year.
Wow.
Nice.
So let that sink in for a second. Every continent except Antarctica is represented.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Great.
That is amazing.
That's great. That's awesome.
It is
I'm
crazy.
so excited for you, Carl. That's
and
so
the film festival actually begins on Thursday, the 8th. So we couldn't even properly fit it into 3 days. So since we already have the space, they're gonna start on Thursday, the 8th.
Nice.
There'll be a little get together even at the Slippery Noodle after the opening on Thursday. So Thursday evening at the Slippery Noodle should be a fun ordeal.
There you go.
Sweet.
There you go.
So they've got it planned out. There's just about every genre you can imagine is represented. And coincidentally to the Paranormal X, we actually have a lot of horror specific films too, so it's kind of fun.
Nice.
We've got some North American premieres, we've got some US premieres that are going to be on board, and I couldn't tell you exactly which ones they are without getting it completely wrong, so I'm not even going to fake it.
There you go.
But it's going to be so cool. It's a dedicated room in the convention center. It's going to be dark out. I mean, it's going to be a dark room with big, huge projection screen inside, and so you'll be able to come and go for films that you want. Several of the filmmakers are coming. I don't know how many, but just because especially the overseas ones, they can't necessarily even get into the country yet with all the rules.
Of course,
which is why that was one of the driving factors to decide early that we were going to do the film festival completely hybrid this year. So they'll be able to send their fans to the film festival to be able to watch it wherever they are. So the experience should be great whether you're whether you're physically in the convention center or not. So yeah, what George and Audrey Lane have done. This is technically our second version of it, but the first one was purely virtual last summer. But for our first in-person one, I don't think no one does this on their film festival for just a second event. It's just not film festivals. I've worked with the Indie Film Fest, which is the Indianapolis International Film Fest in my past, and it just doesn't grow like this. You don't start as big as our event has started. It just doesn't work that way. And I credit George and Audrey 110% for that capability. They came in running like Jackie Joyner Kersey on this, and it's just Usain Bolt, and they just ran with it, and it's been fantastic. And the filmmakers love working with them, and it's been such an amazing addition to PopCon that I take zero credit for. It's just it became a thing that they have built up, and it's just going to be so cool.
That's awesome. And just to be clear, Carl, this is the $15 ticket, right? Just for the film festival alone?
Yep. So yeah, out on our website, you can just you please do join in for the weekend. It's just going to be streaming. There'll be some on-demand movies, but the majority of the film festival is you have to watch it when it's streaming because broadcast rights. We can do it once.
Sure.
We've got permission from them to stream it once through a paywall where you can't download it or anything, and we're protecting them as best we can. And then you watch the movie. So it's just going to be just like the virtual film festival was last year. It's just going to be a constant stream of movies. And right after we talk here, I'm going to upload the updated schedule because they changed some things around. But it's all up on the website. That's easy.
Yeah. I'm looking at that. I'm looking at that right now on my phone. I like how this is being done. There's different time blocks for certain genres. You got like a sci-fi block here, heroes and villains shorts block. So it's really nice that it's broken up. It's very easily categorized to be able to pick like, I like sci-fi, so I'll go watch the sci-fi block for a little bit, see what's going on there. I have a question though. I don't see this anywhere. Are you guys doing any? I know like I've done like Heartland Film Festival before. Are you guys doing any awards for these movies?
We are on Sunday. That is correct.
Perfect.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a full slate of awards. Absolutely.
That's fantastic. All right. That's great. Let's get into the. This is a personal favorite for all for certain reasons. Of course, we got a podcast awards. Let's talk about the podcast awards. And
are submissions still open?
I think I'll be. Yeah, so I think I'll be submitting the Dragoncast in there.
I haven't submitted my podcast yet.
What? I know. We got to submit ours in there too, Victor. We got to get that going
right now.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
We have learned over the years that we can put a deadline up for podcasters to meet, and they will not meet it until it's passed. Until once the deadline's passed, they're like, "Oh crap! I need to still submit. Can I still please submit?" They're like, "Oh yeah, we designed that. We're actually bumping the new deadline out to here." So
yeah, we don't do well with dates or deadlines or any of that stuff. Yeah.
You can't put rules on podcasters.
Man, we cannot be restrained. We cannot be restrained, man. So we have the podcast awards. This is like a yearly staple for PopCon, and tell us how this whole thing's going to work and what can people expect for the podcast awards at the return of the in-person PopCon this year.
Are there like any criterias or any kind of
Yep, it's similar to a film festival in that there's categories for best food and beverage, best sci-fi. I forget what the categories are. Don't keyhole me into being able to answer that. But the podcast award is pretty simple. In addition to it, we'll start from the beginning. Our very first year, one of the original owners knew the podcasts were a big thing that were part of pop culture that not a lot of people understood yet, and it's definitely exploded since 2014. Because all the major platforms support it now. So we had a podcast stage that was inside the vendor hall, which then we were recording them and everybody was talking and the loudspeaker came on and it was a bad experience. So we moved the podcast stage outside of the vendor hall. And then I think our fourth year was our first podcast awards. There was another gentleman in town in Indianapolis, John Graham, had started a separate award ceremony. I can't remember what event he did that at. I can't remember, but it was another local con, and we said, "Hey, John, can we also do that through you?" And he said, "Take it, just take it off my hands," because he's amused.
I don't want it. Was that a good sign that he's like, please do this?
Well, no.
I released this to you.
I don't, with these podcasters who can't get a submission deadline.
I did. I sold that wrong there. John Graham is an artistic muse. So if you are an artist or a podcaster or a writer, he does a lot of stuff with writing. He wants to facilitate you. He doesn't necessarily want to do it.
Yeah.
So he created this and did it for a couple of years. And I was like, hey, that's probably something we should incorporate because we're already doing a bunch of podcasting. And he said, yours, because that's what he does. So I didn't want to make that think like he didn't want it.
No, we know.
More of a
No,
passive.
we know.
I've been looking for somebody to unload this
There you
thing
go.
on.
But we took up that mantle, and it has grown over the years.
Yeah.
And we've had our ups and downs, because podcasting is a whole interesting space. It's difficult to get a hold of podcasters. It's difficult to get the word out. There's no easy way to market to a bunch of podcasters all at the same time.
Of course.
We're working on that. So
I have a couple ideas on that, Carl. I can help with.
Right. There's lots of ideas now, putting them into place.
Yeah.
But then there's the podcast awards. So on Sunday afternoon, we get all the podcasters that are at the event together, and we have categories. We have judges. I don't even I'm not a judge, so because I'm on a lot of the podcasts, so that's unfair. But I don't want to be in charge of the Film Festival Awards. I don't want there to feel like there's insider or anything. So
and also, Carl, you don't have time. Like, when are you going to listen to all these podcasts and watch all these films?
Or watch the movies?
Yeah.
But that's a good point. But no, it's just PopCon, the PopCon management. I'm going to use that loosely. We're not in charge of any of the awards themselves, whether that's cosplay, film festival, podcast awards. We just we've passed that on to the experts. We let them run their thing. And but the podcast awards, it's just like a film festival. So if you've been to the Oscars, it is 1/1,000,000th that. And but we do our best, and it's going to continue to grow as we get the word out, because this is our 4th or 5th. I wish I knew. That last year it just completely throws me off, but it's Creative Zombie with Brad Shoemaker does a great job organizing that, and the Indie Podcast group from Facebook is a huge supporter, and couldn't do it without him. Absolutely could not do it without him.
I'm sure that what's going to be great about this, and I hope this is the case, because with this pandemic thing we've been dealing with, I know a lot of people have been with everybody mostly being at home past year. I know a lot of people have been like, hey, let's do a podcast or something to that nature because we're at home. I know with this show, that's kind of how that happened. I was like, let's bring this show back. It's been a while. What else have I got to do really anyway right now? I'm at home. And so it'd be interesting to see what influx of podcasts show up for these awards. And is there going to be a way for those that is there going to be a way for those people that are interested in this to see which podcasts are going to be a part of this awards show so they can go and listen to them?
The answer is yes. I'm not sure that we have it posted yet.
Okay.
But in past years, we get all the links out to them public at some point.
If you just get your podcast submitted, Brian.
Submitted first.
Hey, I'm doing that today. That's happening today.
Actually, I pulled it up on my other screen.
Yeah,
so get the Kind of Nerdy Girls.
I have it up too. Yeah.
Sorry, Carl. We're really failing. Well, I guess sorry, Brad. Over there.
Right.
Honestly, that's a good sign. So please, that means there are more that are going to be coming in. We need more people to do. We want more people to be doing panel sessions too. That just sign up to do panels or live podcast recordings. We want more people to be in the cosplay contest. We didn't obviously. This year's different, so we're not getting the massive rush of people signing up. A lot of people didn't believe that we're still going to happen, and so fortunately, ticket sales are ramping up now. Walk-ups are fine. Please, if you don't buy in advance, please come anyway. That's not a problem. I don't want people to think that they can't just walk up to the convention center and still get in. But we just please keep rolling the submissions in for whatever it is, because
can I ask a question specifically on the podcast thing, Carl, just to clarify, because there's the podcast awards submission, but then you can also submit to do your podcast live, right? Those are two separate things.
Two separate things. That is correct. And you do not have to do one to do the other.
Okay.
That's good.
So if you don't think you're
That's
award
great.
winning, just go ahead and sign up to be live. Maybe that's what
I'm
we'll
gonna
do.
be a part of this. There you go.
I don't think we're great, but I'd love to be live.
we're like not right there yet, but hey, we're gonna show up anyway. No,
Right?
but we only
I'm
got
planning on taking a trip to Indy next year, so we're gonna end up going.
I'm gonna hold you.
Yes.
I'm gonna hold you to
We're
that.
gonna go do it.
I'm gonna hold you to that. We gotta do our show there live, man. I'm looking forward to that. We got a little bit of time left here, and we'll just do some promotion here. So guys, definitely come check out PopCon. It's July 9th through the 11th, and they're still selling tickets, badges, whatever you want to call them. They're gonna be selling those all the way up, and even during the show.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do individual badges. You are still selling. Are you still selling 3-day badges? I know there for a minute you were not, but now you are. So they're doing that as well.
Walk-ins welcome, guys. Walk-ins welcome.
Yeah, I mean, go check it out. If you've never been to a convention before, this, in my opinion, is a really great entry into the convention scene. Everybody is very welcoming. I would have to say, I've said this before and I'll say it again, this is one of my favorite conventions to go to because it's homegrown. It's all based in the Hoosier State. This isn't some big corporate thing like a lot of other cons are. Not that those are bad, but I will say that I feel that more community vibe with PopCon than I do with pretty much any other convention. These guys always put on a heck of a show every year. In some way, shape, or form, it's gonna draw you in and want you to come back. And Carl, if there's anything that you had to tell these people, what would be your thing? Like, hey, this is why you should come to PopCon. Why should people come to PopCon, Carl?
Fun.
Yes.
Easy.
There
Yes.
you go.
Come have fun.
Well, you know
There you
what? And
go.
the other day I was talking to a woman about PopCon because all I do is talk to people about PopCon at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she, what was interesting is she's like, well, I'm not into comics. So I'm like, oh, let me tell you, like, this is not comics.
It's not just a comic convention. No.
And as I started telling her about all of the things and, the Lego display and all of this stuff, and she was like, so I can come and meet Holly Marie Combs from Charmed, and I can dress my son up as Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yes. Like,
that is PopCon right there.
That's PopCon, man.
Yeah.
Mom can come and have fun. The kids can come and have fun. The dudes can come and have fun. It's like literally an experience where everyone in the family has something waiting for them that they are going to love.
Yeah, I think the common misconception with conventions is they automatically tie them into some kind of comic book shape or form of some sort. That's not the case, guys. This is now a much more broader scope. There's all kinds of entertainment value for different people here. It's not about comics anymore, or just about comics.
Well,
We
and
do have
especially
comics.
PopCon. It's comics and so much more.
And so much more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I will say that if you're looking for a convention and where you want to, you'll find something for you. Absolutely, you'll find something here for you at PopCon. I mean, the vendors are going to be there's going to be a great variety of vendors. I know that because they never fail to do that. Have a great selection of vendors, so you'll find something for you, your kids, your cousins, whatever. There's something there for everybody.
Well, and it's not intimidating. I think
it's really not.
What Carl and Chris and everybody have done is because this is being put on from the fan perspective. We all had that first experience at a con where it was intimidating. You didn't quite know what to do. Like, I don't know how to be at a con. Everybody from the staff to the volunteers to even people that are there as vendors, we're all, the common thread is we're all there as fans. So if you don't know what to do or how to navigate or where to find a panel, you can literally ask anyone because we've all been where you are, and it's okay to ask for help and have someone
Yeah.
guide you through that first experience. And that
Absolutely.
is, it's top notch. It's totally different from any other convention. You can go to this thing and you are immediately welcomed and encouraged to talk to everyone about how to have that best experience.
Yeah. And I would encourage people too to join the Facebook group. The Facebook group is amazing. There's a lot of great people on there that you can chat with, get to know other people. They're always asking questions. I try to come in there and help every once in a while when I can to answer some of those things. What I also love about this show, a couple more things here, is one, it doesn't feel like PopCon, although you guys are a business at the end of the day, it's a business, but it doesn't have that vibe of like, we're trying to make money. I've been to some cons. I'm not going to specify which ones, but I've been to some cons.
Yeah.
I just really felt that way. It felt like it was all about how much money can we get from these attendees. It does not. PopCon has never felt that way. I've never felt like they're just trying to get my money, and it's never felt that way. So there's that. But the other thing too is the staff, people like Carl, Les, Chris, so many others. They're so welcoming to answer questions, extremely knowledgeable. I'm sure you guys are going to do your end of the convention panel, right? Like you do every year. And that's great. I love that because I've never been to a con. I don't think I still have yet to go to a convention that has that face-to-face. Give us some criticism. Tell us, right? And I love that.
We coincidentally call that the bitch fest.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, but again,
I don't think that's what we put.
That's what.
Will you please?
The sign will be on the door. You gotta be there to see it.
But it's good because that just shows how transparent you guys are with this con. You let people know, like, look, tell us how you feel. Don't go tell everybody else. Tell us how you feel. What did grade us? Tell us what we did right. Tell us what we did wrong. It's a panel that I try to make sure not to miss because I also am curious how other people feel and to see the feedback as well and how you guys handle that. You guys are just amazing. So please, guys, you can go to popcon.us right now and get your badges for PopCon. Going to be the 9th to the 11th, and it'll be about a week and a half from when this episode is released. So Carl's like, oh my God. I know it's crazy, right?
We're fine. We're totally ready.
We're at this point, man. We're at this point already. It's happening. And it's going to be great to see some familiar faces again and be in a space that I certainly love being in and amongst my fellow fans and community. But thank you,
Can't
Carl.
wait to hug you guys.
Yeah, right. But thank you, Carl, for being on the show. We love having you here. And also thank you so much to KJ for being on the show as well. And thank you guys also at home for taking time to listen to the Dragoncast. And you can watch all of our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many other podcast platforms. And other than that, we'll see you guys. Take it easy, guys.
Later.
Bye-bye.